There's this video of, or like this clip that I have of Nimi. She's playing this RPG horror game, I think, or something, and it has a riddle or a puzzle where you have to do math. And she's like, I have to do 15 times 9? Are you kidding me? Or something like that. I forget the exact like math problem, but she has to do like really simple arithmetic. I think it's a double-digit number in the early teens times a single-digit number. I'm pretty sure it's something times 9.
Times 9? You're gonna make me do 18 times 9? What? What is 18 times 9? Hello? That's not reasonable, is it? Do people know how to do that?
She's like, I really have to do 16 times 9, hello? She says hello at the end of it. Like, it's the most ungodly thing ever expected of her to do. And I love that clip. And what's even funnier is that I found out that she's actually a physics minor. So she was like freaking out over doing this arithmetic, but I mean, what? No, it's a negative, but it's like it's one where the perk is you have it being sold. That's so unfortunate. What's the chance in this? Like 0.125 or some shit to have a Joker be negative? That's so the irony in that. It is painful. It's $12 or $11. I have $12. It's $11 too, so this just isn't worth it. This is so dumb. This is the dumbest Joker to ever be negative. Maybe not. I'm new to this game. I bought it minutes ago, so excuse me for the bad gameplay. I'm really gonna have to re-roll a negative. That's so unfortunate. I was just wondering, what are games I can play where I could just talk? And I used to have a microphone stand, but I've misplaced it, so I don't know where it is. That's what misplaced it means. I didn't have to clarify. So I have to hold the microphone with one hand. So what's a game where I could just talk and also play with one hand? And immediately what came to mind was Balatro. But yeah, Nimi was like, 15 times 9? And well, it wasn't Nimi, it was back when she went by Fauna, actually. When she was working for the big man upstairs. And yeah, but it turns out like she revealed later that she was a physics minor. So she was literally doing like real analysis and stuff, like the math you don't even talk about. The math you only talk about behind closed doors when nobody's looking. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's capable of that stuff, but she was struggling with 15 times. I guess some people's brains are just wired to do the really hard stuff, and they just slip up with the trivial tasks, alliteration on these hoes. The strat I'm going with is like, if it's a Joker based on chips, then it's to the left. And if it's like a mult based one, then it's on the right. So you get the big chips and then you multiply the big chips. That's my rule of thumb here. Also, there's no music, even though I really, really like the Balatro theme a lot. But I just want to put chill background music that, like, is very befitting for a stream of consciousness. So that's why there are only sound effects. My OBS is weird and it doesn't record desktop sound effects, so it might be picked up by the mic, which is the only way you'd be able to hear it. Because headphones are a no-no. Your doctor said so. That Kanye video I made was like on a whim. The one where I tell him to kill himself. And it got like... The last time I checked, it got 1.3 thousand views, and it really freaked me out. Even though that's a really small amount of views. Like, in the grand scheme of YouTube. I don't know why... Wow, no hearts in all those discards. Are you kidding me? I don't know why I got so in my head about that. I was like, 1.3 thousand, oh god. I guess the reason I got so nervous about that video is because it's like a pretty polarizing one, even though it shouldn't be. I'm telling a Nazi to kill himself. I made that video in like 40 minutes. I just got a bunch of random stuff on my phone like videos I had saved, and I made that song with the crazy drums in like half an hour. But I outdid the DDLC video, which I spent like probably 15 hours on. But yeah, that just goes to show how time/effort does not correlate to results in any way on this site. I'm not pissed about it. I don't care about views at all. I'm just kind of uploading whatever comes out of my rear end. But that's probably the most low effort thing I've ever uploaded, and it blows up. I guess because it kind of has a bit of the title and thumbnail, or a bit of a hook, I will admit. You see like, message to Kanye, what's the message? And then you click on it. I've been catching up on One Piece again. I just hit like chapter 1100. Got to Kuma's backstory. I did not cry, but I did tear up. Although I'm not sure if those two things are entirely different. I remember having a conversation in around middle school or so with a friend where I said I teared up at Toy Story 3, but I didn't cry. Then they said that's the same shit. I'd still wager it's not. But maybe I'm just making excuses. I initially like dropped One Piece at the Egghead arc because one, weekly chapters were so annoying, I just wanted to binge that shit, and two, it was kinda getting not that great. An offhand critique I see a lot online nowadays, like even on 4chan and stuff, is people just say there's no writing, it's just hype moments and aura. Like people say Jujutsu Kaisen is no writing, it's just hype, it just fights. And Jujutsu Kaisen was just an example, but I would be inclined to agree. It is just kind of hype moments and aura. But that's what One Piece was kind of turning into. It was just this massive fight on Egghead. Like, all the Marines were coming in, and Kizaru was coming in, and all the Straw Hats were coming in, and like Rob Lucci and CP9 were coming in, and like it was just this big fight. And there was nothing, there was no story. It's like just every like, hey, remember this guy? Let's have him fight. Hey, remember this guy? Let's have him fight. And I was like, okay, I mean, this will probably look really cool when it's animated, but I mean, with Oda's art style and everything, fight scenes are already a bit busy. Wow, 2 of every single suit. It's like they're trying to dick me over. But yeah, panels are already pretty busy. And they look gorgeous. They look so good. But they are busy. And it makes fight scenes a bit difficult to keep track of, rather. And so when I got to that point like a year ago, it just kind of registered as noise. I don't know if it was a year ago, but yeah, it was a bit ago. But then it got to Kuma's backstory, and I was just, it was so good. It's so good. It just reminded me like, oh yeah, this is One Piece we're dealing with here, okay? This ain't your fucking Naruto. It's that big boy shit right here. Oh boy. Oh, it's 7 though. Alright. This is still pretty good. I just need a good synergy. Along with One Piece, I've also been reading Homestuck. And Homestuck is also really good. And like those two things combined are just like the most inspiring thing. It's like both stories are just like infused with hopes and dreams, and just you could tell the authors have full control over their universe, and they're making every corner of their vision come into fruition. And seeing that just makes you want to like get up and write your own comic, bro. Like there's nothing more inspiring than someone's imagined world like so obviously being perfectly executed as it was envisioned. Homestuck and One Piece are like the least corporate, like least bland, the least corporate, least bland pieces of media like out there. I know people dislike when others say media, but I'm saying the word, brother. Give me a diamond, you fucker. Thank you. We have $7. This isn't gonna pop off. Oh, I should have re-rolled in the shop. There was some strategy there that I missed out on. Ooh. But I discard a lot though. Oh my word. It's time. The synergy. This might not even do a lot. Okay, it didn't do that much. But we just need a mult guy. It's because I have 0 discards and this did nothing. But it is foil though. So I guess it did something. In Homestuck, there's this scene where the story narrative is following the character Jade, and she plays her flute badly, but instead of just plainly writing, she played her flute rather poorly or something. There's this entire minigame where you could press every single key on your keyboard, and each key plays a separate animation of a poorly played flute note. Poorly played flute note, poorly played flute note, poorly played flute note. Okay, it's not that hard to say. I was trying to tongue twister what I just said to see if it was a tongue twister, but it didn't tongue twist. It only tongue twirled a little bit. And every single key on the keyboard played a separate unique animation for the poorly played flute note. And it's just, it's so nice, bro. The novelty of that, the cuteness of it, the effort they went for something so small, made for a moment so memorable. And like I said, they could have just written something as simple as, she wasn't terribly good at playing the flute, but no, they went the extra mile. They went the extra light year with it, bro. A uniquely animated thing for every key on the keyboard. And you're like, wow, that's a nice little moment. It's cool they did that. But they did it again. Let's just play a measly 3 of clubs. The least memorable card, by the way, you can look that up. I think Vsauce made like a YouTube short about it. And I just retained that information for some reason. Also, I hope YouTube doesn't take down this video because I said the phrase kill yourself when talking about the Kanye video. Or maybe I said kill himself, because I think the phrase I said verbatim was told Kanye to kill himself. Because I hear content creators doing that, and they make themselves look like 9-year-olds and censor themselves, and they say stuff like sewer slide and PDF file, and that shit runs me up the wall. That shit runs me up the wall laughing, bro. I'm trying to think of other paraphrases that people say. Can paraphrase be used as like a noun? Oh yeah, one that people say a lot that I fucking hate is people say like commit Minecraft or commit Roblox or something like that. It's the dumbest thing ever. Please give me spades. They're like, oh yeah, he just commit Minecraft. They're like, I can tolerate when people say go kill yourself in Minecraft. Like they append in Minecraft or in a video game to something that would otherwise get flagged by like TOS. But when people just write it out entirely and say go commit Minecraft or go commit Roblox, it's like, God, it sounds so stupid. Like you cannot fabricate a sentence more moronic. Oh yeah, people said white like the letter Y and then T. People on TikTok did that all the time. And it's like, why? Why do people do? I guess it's because it like doesn't boost their video if they talk about topics that people like miscellaneously label as taboo or something. But wouldn't people see through those obvious loopholes and just code it in so it detects those words too? Maybe people saying YT is white was already, maybe it wasn't censorship and more so of an abbreviation, because people are already so lazy to the point where they type TS instead of this, which is also another thing I see that makes me roll my eyes. Also, this game makes my laptop quite hot, by the way, and that's not a diss on the game or saying it's poorly optimized or anything. It's just my laptop is really crusty and musty and dusty and etc. Which is strange because the only other thing I have open is Firefox, and the tabs open on Firefox right now are 2 Homestuck tabs and a One Piece tab. I have 2 Homestuck tags open because I'm using the fan site where people post fan fiction of Homestuck, but all of Homestuck is posted on there, but the images don't work, and the Spanish translation of Homestuck is there, and the images do work. And I'm not quite fluent in Spanish, so I'm like verifying my translations of it by having the version without pictures on the side. So I go through one page and I see the panel, and then I read the text, and then I make sure I interpreted the text correctly by going to the other tab and reading the English with the panelless page. I looked on Spotify today and I saw Charlie XCX's discography. She did the thing where she made all of her album covers look like the Brat album cover, but in their own little theme, which was cool. But how I'm feeling now is just that it's a regular album cover, and all the other ones are on their Brat versions, which is strange. Maybe she's hinting at a deluxe? Maybe not though. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. I see people on my anime list with like a bajillion things watched or like a million things read, and it's like, brother, how do you have time for that? There's so much stuff on their list that it actually makes me start doing the math. Like, how many hours of your life have you allocated to just consuming media? I do agree with people that the word media and like phrases like consuming media, it is pretty robotic and it sounds dumb, but there's just no alternative, at least none that I can think of. Which is why I begrudgingly say it each time. Don't you love it when people are like, "What? You haven't watched something I've seen? That means you're really weird and strange? How have you not seen that, bro?" It's so cool. It's so cool when people just cannot comprehend the fact that people live their lives differently. "What, bro? You've never seen that before?" No. I haven't. And I've seen things you haven't seen before. That did not do that well. I'm drinking a lot of Diet Coke. I wonder if it's bad for me. I heard something from a YouTube video that Diet Coke gives you kidney stones, and I know hearing something from a YouTube video isn't a reliable source at all, and I shouldn't take that with even a morsel of genuine consideration. But sometimes it freaks me out. Every time I drink it, I'm like, this may be the end for the little old pal I call my urethra. But that feeling is quickly overshadowed by the sweet, succulent taste of Diet Coke in my mouth. I saw this video posted on an art channel, and the art channel is ran by a couple. And the video was like a collab with this dating sim game where you date hot guys. And like, the girl in the video was fawning over them. I think Caleb was his name, the one in specific. And the dude was chill with it. And this may be showing my male ignorance, but upon seeing such a sight, my brain expanded. I realized the truths about the world a bit more that day. I realized that they can have these celebrity crushes and stuff, and they could still also have a boyfriend and it's chill. It may seem like a simple concept because it is, but my mind was not aware of this fact. It doesn't really work that way for boys though. Like, usually when you see someone online who's like, "Oh my god, this is my waifu," they would like, I'm pretty sure they would refuse to have a girlfriend because they feel so passionately about the anime girl who their heart has been after. But I was thinking, like, if I had a girl, would I be like up in arms if she was playing those types of games? And I came to the conclusion that may be shocking. The answer is no, I would not. Because the dude in the video brought up the exact same point. Guys read fucking manga with girls with hella anime titties. I just talked about One Piece. That's a prime example. and it's chill. There's no societal stigma around that. So that used to be like the first horseman of the apocalypse of knowing she ain't about you is like her talking about a celebrity crush, and you realize, damn, I look nothing like that motherfucker. It's over. I should make like this hangman card and fucking end it all. But I guess the reality of the matter is, you could have celebrity crushes and still have a boyfriend. Or like be about someone. It would really stink if this is a glaringly obvious fact and I was not made aware of it until very recently. I'd say our channel that I was talking about is cool though, because they do traditional art, and very rarely do you find people online who do traditional art. Or like, you find them do traditional art, but not really traditional art content like that, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference, I promise. But that was a collab channel between two already well-known content creators, and one of the content creators in isolation, her name is Emarichu, and like her video came up on recommended. It was her, like, it was about her journaling, and it was the girliest video ever, and I was like, why am I so engrossed and enthralled when watching this? It was just, the video was peak. She was talking about her life, and the scrapbook looked so good, bro. Make me want to get into that. I don't know what my scrapbook would look like. It probably wouldn't have a lot of images and stuff, even though that's literally the whole point. I just don't take pictures. I'm not a picture taker. I'd want to have like scrawlings of a madman in there, but like a mad scientist, like physics equations and shit, and like coffee spills to add to the fucking dark academia aesthetic. But not even dark academia. It needs to be like a step further than that, like schizo academia aesthetic. Yoink. That's not a really popular one though. I was reading a Substack article about being productive, and they were listing bullet points. Like, after I did so and so, I immediately started brainstorming my project. After I did this and that, I immediately started making an aesthetic Pinterest board. And I immediately like scoffed at it, like, an aesthetic Pinterest board? That doesn't really sound like you're gonna be making too many leaps in your progress there, buddy. I mean, it's just an aesthetic Pinterest board. But then I thought about it, and it's like, if I was on the grind, if I was all about stacking that paper, and I had like a paper stacking aesthetic board, that shit would motivate me, bro. But I don't know if I know dark academia is an actual legitimate aesthetic that can be found on Pinterest. But I don't know if schizo academia is. Like Sigma from Overwatch levels of like, the universe, it speaks to me. The universe. There's this clip that I saw a long time ago, back in like COVID era, I think, around then. I was in middle school is all I remember. It was of someone playing Sigma, and while they were alting, they just kept screaming, the universe, the universe, the universe, it speaks to me. I hear it calling, and stuff like that. The universe!
Mini Genji's handsome melody.
The universe! The universe! It sings! It sings! The universe! And everyone else in the voice chat was like, bro, shut up. But they were laughing while saying it, bro. So that's how you know the bit landed. They were just too afraid to admit that it was genius. In more ways than one. Ooh. Why you gotta do this to me, man? I was hanging out the other night with some friends. They told me this golden story. Apparently, back before I was friends with them, they were hanging out with this one guy who they weren't really crazy about, and he was just kind of annoying. And apparently he was driving with them, and he was like, pull over, I want to drive one of these rentable scooters. And immediately I stopped him telling the story. I was like, wait, you were driving and he wanted to ride a scooter? Like, did he just want to go from A to B slower? Like, what was the big idea, you know what I'm saying? And then they were like, nah, he just thinks riding a scooter is fun, so he just wanted to get out and like stop everyone and just like ride the scooter around the block a couple times. So I was like, okay. And then it kept telling the story, and this guy came out, he got in the scooter and he left. And then they just, like, as he was spinning the block, they just dipped. And like, as soon as he was out of sight, they were like, go, go, go. And they drove the car away. And then he tried to call them. The guy who was on the scooter tried to call them. But like, nobody picked up. And they just let him there to rot. He like called each of them like 7 times. just nobody picked up. And then they went home and made a diss track about him. I was like, after he told the story, I was like, bro, you must have been in that car giggling, bro. And they were like, yeah, bro, it was fucking insane. It was a laugh factory in that hoe. Ew. I'm excited for the Switch 2 and everything, but like, the main thing I'm hyped about is fucking Deltarune, bro. 2 chapters on your head. And not only is it 2 new chapters of Deltarune, it's 2 new chapters worth of Toby Fox music, bro. That is enough to make the crowd go wild. You could tell Toby's kinda going a little crazy with the theming. Chapter 1 was based on like playing cards, and then chapter 2 was based on like loosely based on computers and technology. It was just called A Cyber's World, so he just kind of went with that. So I wonder what the next 2 are gonna be. When you're vegan, you kind of don't have a lot of like food options. So recently I've just been like chip maxing, and I've just been eating chips. And chips are really fucking good. I need to eat more chips in my life if I want to seek happiness. One time for lunch at school, some friends and I went to this Mexican place. And you know how when you get Mexican food, they always give you that side of chips with the salsa? My boy was like, anyone want these chips? And I was like, yeah, can I have all of them? So I didn't have a meal. Not because there were no vegan options. I'm sure I could finesse something like maybe a little rice bowl or like, you know, some. But because I just didn't have any money on me. Because this is when I was mobbing without a phone case for a hot minute there. Because I saw that Neil deGrasse Tyson clip of him being like, you know, the reason why I don't have a phone case is because it actually trains me to be more careful, and then I could do it subconsciously. And I was like, bruh, that's so hard.
And you have no case on your phone, so you're a risk taker.
Right. No, so you can think of it as risk taking, or when I got the phone, because I admire how thin this is.
Right.
I'd like technology serving
Sleek.
me. Okay, so what I did when I got the phone, I said, let me do this with it. Okay.
Flip it around?
Yes. Okay. And I reminded myself, why do, in the military cadets, why do they twirl their gun? Of what possible value is this in combat? Why do they do these things with their gun? And then I realized, you're not supposed to drop your gun. Ever. Ever. So if you twirl the gun and you don't drop it, it means stuff can happen to you in combat, and it is always attached to your body. So I said so when I got my phone, I said, let me just do this. Okay, let me just do this. If I pick up the phone and
Dropped it.
Okay.
I need to get on that shit. But I just ended up being a loser without a phone case. The reason why I need my phone case to have my money on me is because my mom put me on to one of them little like stickable pockets you can put on your phone case. Cause I'm already forgetting stuff constantly. No way I'm gonna remember a wallet, but I have my phone on me at all times. So if I have that little stickable pocket, I'ma just need to remember that. In middle school, this kid I knew wore this shirt that had an image of that one John Wick 2 poster, but instead of John Wick in the center, it was Pickle Rick, and that shit went hard. I'm not gonna lie. I spoke earlier about scrawling physics equations in a journal, and I know it sounds corny, I know. But everyone has to dip into some of that indulgence, bruh. We all do it sometimes. Especially with your major. Like, don't tell me computer science majors don't fantasize about, like, tapping away at their computer and hacking the mainframe and shit. Or, like, music majors thinking of themselves conducting a symphony, or, like, business majors just being a towering CEO. Everyone does it, bro. That's all I'm saying. One thing I was not expecting from One Piece at all was it having a perfect analogy for the events surrounding the atomic bomb. Like, who the fuck saw that coming, bro? Like, a noble scientist gets recruited by a malicious government to exploit their discoveries for what would otherwise be an extremely efficient power source and turn it into something evil to obliterate a country. And it didn't seem forced or shoehorned in or like out of nowhere, because on paper it's like an analogy for the events surrounding the atomic bomb in One Piece. Like, that seems so out of left field. It must have been really awkward just shoving that in the story like that. But it fit like a glove, bro. A goddamn glove, bro. And the author is like Japanese, so obviously the historical events would resonate very potently, and it would take an unspeakable amount of mindfulness to recognize the upsides of the scientists involved. And obviously I have a lot of bias because I'm a physics major, but like, especially how he acknowledged the fact that nuclear energy is like a discovery so massive that the pros may outweigh the cons long term, which again is something that takes an unbelievably open mind to recognize, considering the author is native to Japan. Many people fail to recognize that. Even Kurt Vonnegut didn't recognize it in Cat's Cradle. That's one of my favorite books ever. It ain't shit compared to One Piece though. The best piece of literature ever fucking put to press. I will never stop writing One Piece, bro. It's just too good. If it was a third as good as it is now, it would still be the best piece of fiction ever put out there. Not even joking. That's how good it is, bro. So many sounds are going off, but like, the score, it's not up there, man. It sounds up there, but in reality, it's a wash. It being a wash is a good thing, I think. So that was poor wording on my part. I won't hold you. Nimi streamed today, and in her stream, she said that Mad Max was her favorite movie of all time. And I think that's off of her like recently seeing it. Like, I could have sworn in a earlier stream she talked about like, oh, I just watched Mad Max. It was really goofy and over the top, but I liked it. And it's like, she said it's her favorite movie. It's like, really? A, really, your favorite movie is Mad Max? And B, you just saw that shit. That's what like 7-year-olds do. Every film they just saw coming out the theater was the best movie they've ever seen, according to them. Like, really, bro? Mad Max? To be fair, I've never seen it, so I probably shouldn't even be saying this in the first place, okay? That's on me. I won't lie, that's on me. I'm weird for that. But really, bro, your favorite movie? Really? I guess she's not really cinema pilled. Unlike me, who has refined tastes such as Death Proof by Quentin Tarantino. Only the best movie ever made. I hear people say that that's his worst film. A lot. Okay. It's not perfect at all. But like, worse than Jackie Brown, bro? You're telling me Death Proof is worse than Jackie Brown? Jackie Brown had Robert De Niro in it, and it was still mid. Like, you have to try. Like, your script really has to like just be a total like strike in the field if it's gonna have Robert De Niro and still have the gall to be a snoozer, bro. It seems lame because by definition it is lame, but it kind of stinks that people who tend to study a lot also happen to not be very sociable, because like the dream in college, the meta right now is that I find people who instead are like, yo, want to come to my dorm and do drugs like every day, they're all just like giga studious, and every day they're like, bro, we were gonna go study with the boys, want to come? I'd be like, hell yes, bro, I'm trying to get my grades up, bro. Like every day in the lab, just keeping away from them consonants in the grade book. I need a girl, bro. If it don't happen in college, then I'm just killing someone. I don't care. You think I'm joking, but I'm actually gonna do it. And they'll play this footage in the courtroom and be like, this is some damning evidence, bud. And I'll be in my seat, like twiddling my thumb, staring at the table, trying to pretend like I didn't say that shit. My lawyer will give like the biggest fucking face palm of all time. I've noticed something too. Ever since they reintroduced him in the series, Mihawk never smiles. He's always frowning. He's never smiled a single time. And they're gonna use that. I know it, bro. I know it in my bones. They're gonna use that. When he and Zoro finally scrap, something we've been waiting decades for, he's gonna finally smile. And he's gonna say some shit like, finally something worth living over, or something like that. And it's I'm gonna pop off so hard, bro. I'm gonna be out of my seat, bro. Like, that will be one of the best moments in the series. When Mihawk finally smile. Bro, he better smile once he starts fighting Zoro and he realized like, this is gonna be a challenge, huh? Or when he's finally defeated and he's like, you were a worthy opponent, and he finally cracks that smile. It's gonna happen, bro. It will. Mark my words in the sand. I have this irrational fear that when I'm showering, the water is gonna like suddenly turn into lava and I'm gonna fucking die. And sometimes my shower like glitches out and like the water goes off for literally a 16th of a second. Like it's just a small like gap. Like so briefly it stops. And my heart jumps out of my chest, my stomach drops down to my balls, and I freak out, bro. I got so shook, bro. I was like, it's over. These are my final moments. But nah, I was chilling. I mean, obviously the water wasn't gonna turn into lava. Just felt the need to clarify that in case you're on the ropes, like, what happened next? Did it turn into lava? Just as he feared? But no, worry not. I'm here safe and sound, and all around. I never ever asked to go out to eat, because it's just not my thing. I'm not about going out to eat. So my parents egg me on whenever something special is gonna go down, or like we have a reason to celebrate. Like I just graduated high school, so they're like, we should go out to eat. We never do. But the veganism makes it so it's kinda hard to pick a place that's accessible. And the only real options are Eye-Talian and like just a place specially made for vegans. The reason why I say Eye-Talian like that is because I watched Do the Right Thing a few weeks ago. So good, bruh. But yeah, they say Eye-Talians like that. I don't know why they say it like that. I guess it's like a Brooklyn accent thing. Is that movie set in Brooklyn? I know it's set in New York. Everyone on planet Earth said this was the most addicting game in the world and this was the best experience you were ever gonna have of like going on your computer. And maybe I shouldn't be so quick to judge. I still kind of think this game is more fun to watch rather than play. Especially when you're watching someone really good at it, like this channel named Rawful Light. Rawful Light has like a little Draw with Jazza cartoon-ass avatar at their like end title card. Or I guess it's just end card, not an end title card. And in his little avatar, he has like A10 Aryan pupils. Like they're so bright and colorful. But he as a person is just a regular guy with brown pupils. Like why? Why you do that, man?